your photo needs when you want, anytime you want. Anytime photos and sometimes videos, sometimes videos.
What is up? What is up? What is up? This is Emery. Anytime videos, sometimes. Oh my gosh. Anytime photos, sometimes videos. And guess what? This is a video, a live video, as I'm doing multiple things at once that I should not probably be doing. So stay tuned. What is going on? What is going on? What is going on? Once again, this is Emery, Andrew. This is Anytime Photos, Sometimes Videos. And guess what? This is a video, a live video, something we haven't done in a little while. And I'm kind of hopping all over screens here because, yeah, probably trying to do more at once than I probably should be. But nevertheless, I'm going to do it anyway. So, let's see, where are we at, what we got going on, and what's the going ons here? Well, let's see, as far as Anytime Photos, Sometimes Videos goes, recently shot a little commercial slash video for a local store downtown. Stay tuned, there'll be some more of that coming out. Still, it's lengthy editing process. Of course, there's the coronavirus going on, and then there is, for those of you in Montgomery County, curfew once again extended past the city onto the county. But we'll get to that here in a minute. But I know that's near and dear to everybody's heart. So for those of you who are on other platforms that are watching, just bear with me. If you're curious, then by all means, stick around because I'm going to talk about the coronavirus a little bit as it relates to this area. And by this area, I mean the Gump, Montgomery, Alabama. The Gump. Aha. See, that's what happens when you try and do more than you should be at one time. Because now I'm realizing that my sound was all jacked up. But guess what? It is now fixed. And we're back. So anyway, what I was saying was, for the other platforms that are watching, I'm going to talk about the coronavirus, of course. Got something, I don't know, some humorous things about it as well that I've discovered. But feel free to stick around and watch as we delve into some of this a little bit. I got a couple of things I'll bring up on the screen here and let you look at that we can discuss, if you will. And one of them, I guess, might as well go ahead and go on to it. What do you say? Because I don't know how you've been getting your news. Well, keeping up with it. Of course, our local here in Montgomery, Alabama, our local WSFA Channel 12 is doing a fantastic job. Give it up for them, of course. But for those of you who like to tinker around the internet a little bit, here's how I like to keep track of it. So as you can see, wow, this looks a little overwhelming. And if you'll notice here at the top of the screen, there is a number listed, 334-245-3617. Feel free to call in if you so desire. And hopefully that process will work reasonably well. We'll see how that goes. Play it by ear. Got 2 of them, so we should be safe there. So anyway, so this is a website. I posted the website beneath me here. And you'll see over here, it starts in this corner, coronavirus.jhu.edu/map.html. This is over at Johns Hopkins, and it's updated pretty rapidly, I would say. But I just thought this might be kind of interesting Because I can do stuff like mouse over here and show you maps and do cool stuff like that. Now, total confirmed at this point, according to John Hopkins and this website, is 1 million. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, just over. Confirmed deaths, 53,000. Might as well say 54,000. But look at that recovered number, 217,000. That looks a lot better. That green number looks a whole lot better than that white number, I think. But nevertheless, Alabama. So let's get down to the nitty gritty with Alabama. Let's see. What I did was I changed the over in this column, this little second button down here. If I click that, I can go to the state. Let's see. There's Alabama. So this is where Alabama is looking at in the scheme of things as of updated at, what time was it? See, it was updated at 9:42 a.m. Central Time this morning was the last time this was updated. So 1,315 total confirmed cases in Alabama and 32 deaths. And out of those, let's see, 5 deaths they've got it marked as unassigned, which means they didn't assign those to any particular county or place. But if you look, 4 deaths in Chambers, 4 in Jefferson, 3 in Mobile County, 3 Shelby, 2 in Lee, 2 in Marion, 1 in Baldwin, 1 in Coleman, 1 in Etowah. Let's see, of course, 1 in Montgomery listed here. But a lot of these are probably, it doesn't matter. A lot of folks that are in these areas. I'm just kind of zooming in on Alabama a little bit. You can't really see it too well when you pack it in. But if you look, I mean, the state, there's scattered cases throughout the state with obvious pockets there. But so, what do you think, people? I mean, what's the goings on here? I mean, is this curfew? Look, if you're not in Montgomery County or Montgomery City, we've been in a curfew 10 p.m. until 5 a.m. And they recommend you staying at home, all that kind of good stuff. A lot of businesses closed, obviously. And as a matter of fact, a good friend of mine who I'm going to plug while I'm on here, Bella Cash. That's BELLAKASH. Go check her out on Facebook, or @theylove_Bella Cash on Instagram. She's a contortionist / dance teacher / everything / entrepreneur / learn a lot of things fast in a hurry type person / all kinds of stuff. So anyway, check her out. I'm plugging her only because this is a great example. Adapting and overcoming situations. I mean, she has been teaching this dance class for this recital coming up, and because of this, her location where she was doing this at had to close. And now, granted, some of the parents for some of this aren't really too worried about the virus. Apparently, they were still wanting to do class, but nevertheless, Bella is a prime example of what somebody who's trying to make a living does. What is she turns her class online, and now her class is provided through a program she's running through. The way she's doing it, I'm not going to delve off in her business, but her students can log in and still have a class with her online, live, through the system that she has set up. And even her adult class, her stretching class or that she does, and a few other things, they can still keep up with her class, because it's something she teaches in the community, and she charges a very low nominal fee, but they're able to log on and see her live and communicate with her live, and still go through a class as she talks her through it, encourages them through it, answers questions, whatever. I mean, transitioned overnight from a studio location to conducting her class online, which isn't really that unusual, but but we're talking grassroots here, folks. There's a lot of, Alabama's taking heat for, for the way we're doing things. But what did they say? The governor say, hey, Alabama can't stand to take the kind of losses business wise. I mean, I'm sitting here scratching my head because those of you who know me know my situation, and so there's no sense. I'm not going to delve off into that unless somebody has questions about it. But my point is, I mean, if you can't work right now, where are you going to pick up the slack at in grocery money and various other things? And while I'm thinking about that, I'm actually I'm going to pull up one of my son actually brought this up to my attention, so I figured, what the hey, you might as well go ahead and investigate this a little bit further. But hold on a second, I don't want to spoil it here. Let's see, where is it? Oh, here we go. I got this invisible window I have to move around here. It's ridiculous. Bam. Let's see what this says here. Rumor has it, and I'm actually logging into mine as we speak, that my account for one of my services, which I'll divulge here momentarily. I just want to verify some things before I spout it as fact. Okay, yeah. So some of you probably know this already. I mean, I'm looking at my my Alabama power bill, total due goose eggs. Thanks, Alabama Power. I wasn't aware of this until my son brought it to my attention that when they checked theirs, that was their upcoming bill was goose eggs across the board. So I mean, that's a huge help for a lot of homes. Now me, I small house, powers, doesn't really cost me typically a whole lot anyway, but every little bit counts. So I mean, I just can't imagine. There's got to be, especially dual income families that maybe budgeted to $0 at the end of every month, scraping by. Educators, the list could go on and on. What you have to do to provide for your family, or what jobs you have, and providing I see a church that's providing basically a food drive once a month. I mean, I know there's going to be lots of resources out there. Now, I'm originally from the Dothan, Houston County, Coffee County, Dale County area, and in that area, there was a program, and it was through United Way, and it was called 211, and this was a hotline that you could call in through United Way, and any program in that area that was registered with them, an operator would connect you with whatever service you needed. I'm not saying that's something we need to stand up here. If we may already have something like that in this county here already, but I know it was United Way 211, and it was a phenomenal resource, because I mean, any legitimate organization was out there to help you for whatever, from veterans to elderly to whatever. I mean, they had a roster and contact information, and the operators knew what they were talking about dealing with it, and it was a great resource. Now, so some of these people, not everybody's going to be able to afford their internet, because I know, I got my internet bill, and I'm sure everybody doesn't run internet quite like I am doing, because granted, internet can be expensive, and especially when you're doing stuff like live broadcasting, which uses upload bandwidth is tremendous, is definitely a thing. So what from the people that I've talked to that have come by and I've chit chat with, they don't seem too worried. There's lots of folks. Matter of fact, even in the little news article I saw, when yesterday when Montgomery County started their the entire county had a curfew. One of the comments they made in the news article was people not taking it seriously. I mean, wow. But look at the numbers. Like we had here just a few minutes ago on here. And I'll bring them back up for you. The original numbers, if I can find where I'm at. Oh, there we go. So it's coming back up, and bada boom, bada bing. Here's the original numbers somewhere over the rainbow, and the map should be coming up. Boom, boom. Anyway, it'll catch up in a minute. But there's the map. So I mean, there's the numbers, people. But here's what I'm saying: 221,000 recovered compared to death. I mean, it's a much bigger number. And granted, we'll catch up eventually, but how long is eventually? I mean, how prepared are we to be prepared? I mean, we knew this was coming. Did we know it was going to be to this degree? Did you know it was going to be to this degree? Is this a surprise? A lot of people I heard in the beginning were like, "Oh my gosh, hype, the government hyping all this up, and it's not going to be that bad, and what have you." But we're reacting accordingly, and I'll be honest. In the beginning, I thought, well, maybe we're getting a little bit ahead, putting the cart before the horse just a little bit. But now I can definitely see, especially with no vaccine. But I had somebody ask me a question this morning. I thought was funny. It says, they're not. I haven't heard anybody talking about what the treatments that they're doing right now. What are the treatments that people are doing? And I've got a news article that we're going to talk about here in a few minutes. That I'm going to come back to that. So remember that. What are the treatments that they're actually doing for those who are getting into this recovered number here, since there's no actual vaccine? So let's move on from the coronavirus for a minute, because we'll get a little lighthearted here with a few things. But I don't know. I mean, longevity. I'm just wondering how. It's hard to predict in my mind. Of course, I'm no medical expert by any means, but I mean, how prepared? I mean, how arduous is this going to be? I mean, online services for delivery times have grown. So there's second and third order effects. That proverbial pebble into the the still pond, and those ripples. One thing kind of affects another. And when's the last time that we've dealt with something like this in this country? I mean, quite like this. I mean, if you're from, let's say, the Gulf Coast or the East Coast, hurricanes and dealing with that kind of inclement weather. West Coast, it's been the fires and it's been a good while since we've had a good. Well, I shouldn't say good, since there's been a notable earthquake that has caused damage. I mean, there could have been, I'm not aware of, but so throughout the U.S. There's pockets of areas that are accustomed to dealing with a crisis, maybe like this, maybe worse than this, but for a shorter amount of time. Now we're talking about a marathon versus a sprint. So how do you run a marathon? Steady, slow and steady. Maximize your energy, and because it's a long haul. So now I'm getting just sitting here talking about it. I get myself thinking, what do I need to do? What do I need to do in order to better prepare myself? Gee, many Christmas, you know what I mean? But it is what it is, and we just trudging along with that. But let's move over to something else I found quite humorous. So KY3 of Springfield, Missouri. Now this didn't happen in the last day or two, keep in mind. Unfortunately, it's been a few days back now, but irregardless, it's worth talking about. Just to kind of break the monotony up a little bit here, people. Come on, work with me. Again, the phone is still open. I think if you choose to call in, feel free. Be happy to discuss, talk about whatever's on your mind. It may not be the coronavirus. And if it is, so be it. If not, then we'll make it something else. But anywho, I'm checking all my stuff going on here because guess what? And you're wondering what happened in Springfield, Missouri. Well, a woman decided. Well, she probably didn't decide. It just kind of happened. Her water broke on the paper aisle, toilet paper, paper towels, whatever, in a local Walmart there in Springfield. And fortunately, there was a nurse present. That came to her aid. The fire department showed up and helped deliver the baby, and the baby was delivered in the Walmart aisle while other patrons of the store were, they blocked it off. Sure, when the baby was born, crowd erupts. But here's my thing. I got to thinking. Now, back in '94. I was in the Panama Canal Zone. I was stationed in the Panama Canal Zone. And there were a lot of Cuban refugees that were trying to get to the United States that the Navy was picking up in the Gulf. Roughly about 10,000 of them, to be honest with you. Well, so what they did was they set up internment camps in Panama. And for those of you who have been to Panama, Panama Canal Zone, or if you use words like Empire Range, you might know what I'm talking about. But we set up 5 internment camps. My unit ran Camp 1, and the reason why I'm saying this is because there were pregnant women that the Navy picked up that ended up giving birth, and some of them named their kids Usnavi. U.S. Navy. Usnavi. Oh, look, there's a little Usnavi. Of course, now, that was 94, so here comes Usnavi. Usnavi's not so little no more. But, so I got to thinking about that. So, Walmart, if it's a boy, would you want to name, I thought about, hey, Wally Martin. Hey, Wally Martin. Get it? Or how about Walt Mark, whatever your last name is. We'll say, let's make up a last name. Well, we'll use my last name, Andrew. Walt Mark Andrew, or Wally Martin Andrew. Or how about Charmaine Wally McMart? I'm just saying. I'm not all that clever with that kind of stuff, but that right off the top of my head, those are the first things I would come up with. Girls' names. What kind of toiletry products, paper products does Walmart carry on that aisle? Brand names. Ladies, I'm sure you could probably come up with a few right off the top of your head. I don't know. I thought it was kind of funny myself. Personally, I probably have to go with Wally Martin Andrew. Or Wally Mart Andrew, something like that. I don't know. Am I crazy? Perhaps. But what the hey? Why not? I'm stuck inside, and this is what you're stuck with. So if you're watching right now, which hopefully somebody is somewhere, speaking of which, there's windows in my doggone way. I'm not sure if anybody's. Hello, is there anybody out there? Is there anybody who's typing anything? I don't see anybody typing anything. But anywho, wow. Okay, so anyway, I'm sorry. I've got multiple screens going on here. In case you're wondering what's going on, and so hello to my whoever's watching. Hello. I'm not sure who you are, but thanks for watching. Thanks. Oh, I don't know why I'm typing this because I know. Anyway, Look, people, I'm slap stir crazy when I come up with news articles about women having babies in Walmart and then coming up with names for them based upon the products on that aisle or based off the store name. So here comes my little boy, Wally Martin Andrew. Hey, Wally Martin Andrew. He was born in Walmart by the fire department on a paper aisle. Charmin and some other stuff. I can't think of other names off the top of my head. Can't imagine naming a kid Great Val. I don't know. Could be something we're working with. Anyway, comment below. Add your name. So if your child was to be born, if you were to have a baby in Walmart aisle, what aisle would you choose to have your baby in? Number one. Number two, would you name your child anything that have to do with that experience? Whether it's the store, whether it's the aisle, the products, whatever. I'd be curious to know. Comment, please. That would be interesting to find out. I'm sticking with old Wally Martin Andrew. Old Wally Martin Andrew. That's my boy. Getting big fast. So anyway, moving right along. Enough of that. So now this next little story that I'm going to bring to light. I'm not sure how I feel about this, to be honest with you. Okay. When you start having titles in your name of like I don't know, like a what is this? Where's this thing? Where's this guy's stuff at? Maybe go ahead and pull this up before like a astrophysicist. Think before you leap. I mean, really. Okay, people, I'm just going to do it. Let me get this out of my way so I can see it. I just read it and take it in. Astrophysicist gets magnets stuck up his nose while inventing a coronavirus device. Soak it up. Yes, soak it up. Enjoy it. No, I thought I had some magnets nearby, but I don't. So anyway, this astrophysicist is in Australia. He's an Australian. So, wow. So here's the plan. The plan was to come up with a device to stop people from touching their face. Like Dr. Daniel Reardon is a 27-year-old astrophysicist and research fellow at Melbourne University. Okay, what they were doing, he studies pulsars and gravitational waves and this sort of thing. And he and his partner were working on to create a necklace, okay, to use magnets. So when somebody would reach up to touch their face, an alarm would sound it's like almost like training a pet, I sound, whoa, beep, 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 oh yeah, don't touch my face. Beep, 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 oh yeah, don't touch my face. Because of the, moisture droplets. It's the same logic as clipping pegs to your ears. I clipped them in my earlobes and then clipped them to my nostrils, and things went downhill pretty quickly when I clipped the magnets to my other nostril. A magnet on each side of his septum attracted each other, leaving both stuck inside his nose. I wonder how strong these magnets were that he put in his nose. So his septum is this little space right here in between your two nostrils here. As I was pulling downward to try and remove the magnets, they clipped onto each other and I lost my grip, he said, and those two magnets ended up in my left nostril while the other one was in my right. At this point, I ran out of magnets. He ran out of magnets. He had more. He left that open to believe that if he had more, he would have put more in his nose. But I imagine what he was insinuating was that he was going to use the magnets and pull them out. Ease the ones that were already in there out. that were attached to a septum. Once out of magnets, Reardon tried using a set of metal pliers to pull them out, but those became magnetized. His partner finally brought him to the hospital, where medical staff applied an antiseptic spray and manually removed the magnets from his nose. Wow. So this is what he's working with. Coronavirus is primarily spread through droplets generated when an infectious person coughs or sneezes, or through droplets of saliva or discharge from the nose. Frequent hand washing is recommended as people transmit the virus by touching their mouth, eyes, and nose. So that's where the connection's at. So that's where his little device was coming up with. My word, would I like to have been a fly on that wall. I mean, really? Thank you, Dr. Reardon, Mr. 27-year-old astrophysicist. Astrophysicistry should be stuck to beyond. I'm just saying. Maybe we should stick with it there, because ears, nose, throat doctor, not so much. Not a comparison. Maybe for some it's a black hole. Yes, I went there. Anyway, moving right along. I mean, magnets in the nostrils? Now, I've got some magnets that I use for different things. Little round ones or what have you, and they attract, and but I can pull them apart. So those magnets he was using must have been pretty strong, and locked in his septum, that little piece that separates the nostrils. And I don't know, I'm just imagining the size of these things, and obviously they must have been small, but how interesting is that? I don't know. So anyway, you have a baby in Walmart. What you gonna name it? Don't put magnets in your nose, because they're gonna get stuck when they magnetize on your septum. Not good. Not good at all. I don't recommend doing that, people. As an astrophysicist just taught us recently. Very recently, as a matter of fact. I don't know. Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? I know where I'm going from here. I'm hungry. Although I have something to drink. What? Stay tuned. One of these broadcasts, I want to have Puppy Cam up and running. Yes, you heard it. Puppy Cam. It's the puppies, people. Look, it's been a pleasure. My name's Emery. This is Anytime Photos, Sometimes Videos. And this was a video. A live video. Boy, magnets in the nose. I just don't get it. I'm pondering this for a while.